Welcome back. Former President Barack Obama lent in his star power to Texas Senate candidate James Tallarico, this in their 30-year quest to flip Texas blue. The duo campaigned at the taco joint in Austin. Take a quick listen.
Hey, people, I hear the tacos here are okay.
They're amazing.
They're not bad. That's the word on the street. Lilia, this is your spot. This is your joint. So what I'm thinking is, got to get the street taco. I need maybe like a holy moly.
Yeah, breakfast tacos.
Potato, egg, and cheese.
That's right. I come here a lot, so she knows.
Well, while Obama is obviously popular, the polls say his party is not right now. Confident Democrats keep predicting a midterms blowout. CNN's data guy, though, just gave a reality check. Listen.
I think this poll serves as a big-time reality check for Democrats, and that is, it ain't over yet, especially with the redistricting when we look ahead to the 2026 race for Congress. You would have thought that the Democrats' lead would expand on the generic congressional ballot. It didn't happen. It is within the margin of error. So despite all of the talk about Donald Trump's unpopularity, the fact is Republicans very much remain in the game when it comes to the congressional midterms.
Some of the Dem candidates aren't doing themselves any favors. Far-left Michigan Senate frontrunner Abdul El-Sayed says he's getting called out now in Politico for calling himself a physician, but turns out he has very little history treating patients. Only, if I read the stuff correctly, about 4 weeks of an internship somewhere. Let's pick up there, Jesse. This guy, El-Sayed, this move to call yourself a doctor, we have seen people try and kind of like fudge this.
Yeah, I used to call myself Dr. Feelgood in college, but just a nickname, didn't really matter. Not giving any medical advice. I do have to say something about Jessica. I saw her in the green room the other day, and she was crying. And I said, what's wrong? And I tried to console her, and she said, Jesse, the Democrats lost the redistricting war. We're going to lose 12 House seats.
That's not how it happened.
I said, here, take my pocket hanky. And she dabbed her eyes, and she goes, the only way we're going to win elections now is if we steal them. And I said, it's okay. You guys are very good at that. But that's the reality, 12 seats. And if you look at the generic congressional ballot, it's too close for comfort. You guys can't raise any cash. The DNC's broke. Trump has a massive war chest. And I get it. You know, Trump is now taking so many issues off the table because he's been successful. No one's talking about crime, culture, the border, because those aren't issues anymore.
There is
the
no
only
culture
issue, the trans thing, we don't even talk about it anymore. You guys lost that big time. On the economy, yes, gas prices are high because there's a little excursion. The Iranians shut down the strait, but he's not going to get pressured into a bad deal. And in the meantime, that will hurt Republicans. He's not on the ballot. So he's looking for the long-term interests of the United States. The reason you guys aren't getting any traction on the economy is because gas prices were higher for much longer under Biden. And you ran up the inflation rate to 9% and said it was a good thing. So stop. You guys made the country weird. You had guys with little nails, trans, running all over the White House, chasing Binder while Biden was asleep in his suit. You guys got to do what you need to do. Run a Nazi oyster farmer. Run a pastor who says God is gay. I don't care. Run a woman that dumped a scalding hot thing of potatoes on her husband's head. Whatever you need to do. We're the underdog. We like to run like that.
But yet, Jessica, I believe that Democrats and Republicans are polling essentially the same on the economy. You know, the president doesn't have the leg up that he had planned to have at this moment because of the Iran war.
No, absolutely not. Listen to James Blair, who's in charge of the midterm strategy, and he does not want to talk about the economy. They're all now at least admitting that gas prices are up, or that it's a little more expensive when you go to the supermarket, but all of that will be fine in time. It'll be great by when we get to November. And I'm actually surprised that we had a polling segment like the set up there, that I didn't even have to like annoy people by being like, I would love to talk about that poll. Because even in that CNN poll, Trump has 70% disapproval on the economy. 2/3 say the country's going in the wrong direction. And there was also the Atlas Intel poll that had Democrats up 15 points. Obviously, that is too much. But you have a 3.8% inflation report. Now the wages, the inflation is outpacing your paycheck, which you always throw in my face. You're like, with the paychecks. Well, now it doesn't matter what you're earning. Democrats are favored on education, healthcare, employment, inflation, trade, taxes, even crime. Can you believe that?
I don't believe that. No, I don't believe that.
Absolutely
You guys
not.
release criminals all over the street.
Anyway, there's a Harry Enton clip for everything. Check out the one. I'm sorry, my voice is like worse than usual. You like really upset me with that crying thing.
Greg, what do you think about this young Dem, James Taylor Rico, bringing in Barack Obama? I'm not a political strategist, but it strikes me as a risky move because the guy's got a lot of star power. It doesn't always translate to
Tallarico does?
Former President Obama.
Who's that?
The star power doesn't always translate to people he endorses, like Kamala Harris. Also, he tends to outshine people like he did there in line at the taco joint.
Yeah, neither of them know what a street taco is, or else they wouldn't have one. Look it up, people. Look, I am actually going to agree with Jessica. I am tired of Harry Enton. First of all, we aren't babies where we can be abruptly entranced by a new shiny object. And in this case, it's always every day, it's a shock poll. And one provides a bath of dopamine for Jessica. The next day, a shower of serotonin for Jesse. Meanwhile, Harry Enton is like going to bed on a pile of money surrounded by cocaine and call girls. It's all a scam. Don't listen to it. You never know how things are going to turn out because Republicans don't talk about how they vote. That's how Trump surprised everybody. I want to talk about Abdul El-Sayed. You can keep your doctor, by the way. That's Obama said that. He claims he's a doctor, but he isn't a doctor. Who does he think he is, Jillian? Dr. Jill? What is it with Dems and false credentials? You know, no wonder they hate voter ID because they can never provide any proof of who they claim they really are, whether it's their social programs, their daycare centers, their asylum seekers, their war heroes, their sentient president. Nothing is ever what they say it is. They create phony charities and lofty titles for the people who run them. What happened to the money for the fires from the giant benefit that was to happen? $100 million. Illegals become undocumented. Abortion becomes birth control. Prisons become carceral oppression. If the Dems were accurately labeled, no one would go near them. So we don't have a lot of this stolen valor on the Republican side. We can't afford it. People would find out about it. But in this case, this guy was probably telling everybody a doctor, and they were fine. And you're right, Trump's numbers aren't great, but he's got an ally in the Democrats.
I just want to say...
No, I'm not done yet,
well,
Jillian.
I don't want to...
Stop pointing your finger at Paul. He did nothing to you. Look, you know what Trump is like right now? He's like having a bad back, okay? And I got a bad back. But then you look over at this guy, he's got leprosy. That guy is the Democrats. So it's like, as long as the Democrats are so profoundly unpopular, Trump can pretty much do anything because the Democrats have no way up. They have no way out. Back to you, Jillian.
No, are you sure you're done?
No, I can keep going.
That was such a great point. I want to say I have not inflated my credentials.
No.
I am completely unqualified. I have a bachelor's degree. That's it.
From where?
What do you think about their doctor? Waltz was a war. It is just like insane.
Just because it's online doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
You remember Trump University, right? And having to pay those kids back or the fake charity stuff. Like that. My voice is going to go again, and I'm not going to be able to finish this. But
That's okay.
everyone should look at it.
I wish you had stopped them because I was going to make the same point.
Nobody can stop it.
I know nobody can stop. Let me put my glasses on because I can't read my own writing. The bottom line is this: from where I sit, historically, Trump is up against a headwind. As we all know, the midterms generally goes against the party that's in power. That's just because of delayed gratification no longer be embedded in our society, right? Everybody wants everything and they want it yesterday. So that's the headwind. But as Trump, as Greg said, Trump, same thing. As Greg just said, realistically, the best ally Trump has are his adversaries because of the stuff that the left continues to bang the gong on. You're still getting DEI. Virginia, Spanberger said, I'm going to be a moderate. She comes in. She's left of Karl Marx. You get synagogue protests where people can't even go into worship. You got everybody terrified of the squad, and you got all of this fraud stuff going on. And now Mayorkas comes out and says, oh, yeah, oops, on the border. Do you see this thing? Mayorkas comes out now and says, oh, yeah, well, maybe we kind of blew that. 10 million people came waltzing across the border on your watch, pal. And you're the one who said, oh, those people, my own people, were whipping Haitian migrants. And he knew it wasn't false. And he comes out and says that. I can't tell you how countercultural that is for law enforcement. And I'll just end with this because we're out of time. If it goes the way some people are prognosticating, that is to say that the Dems get at least the House and the Senate, and they play these impeachment games, everything else. I'm telling you right now, what it ensures is a blowout in 2028 for the Republicans. You'll end up with a Republican everything across the board because the same dynamic is going to be in place 2 years later. And everybody's, okay, come on, deliver. And there's nobody to deliver. Who is the leader of the Democratic Party right now? Who's the biggest name? Hassan Piker? Who's the big name?
Barack Obama, maybe?
Barack Obama, he's like, walking around in Bermuda shorts on that island that he's on in Martha's Vineyard. He has 10 houses and everything else. That guy, a lot of people right now that came into the electorate, they don't really know who he is. You and I know who he is. But the people that voted for Mamdani, to me, I think that those people see him as real OG.
Well, Obama and Mamdani were campaigning together. I mean,
notice,
right.
Obama came to him to kiss the ring because Mamdani is arguably
You think
the leader.
Obama wants Mamdani to?
He also went to Austin or whatever to see Tallarico.
Yeah, he wants to help.
Yeah, he wants to be
Democrats.
relevant. But the guy that he went to when he tried to get back on the playing field was Mamdani.
Stop it.
Also, the segment is way over, thanks to Greg, so we're going to have to wrap it up now.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.